morning, good afternoon, whatever it is, wherever you are. It's me again, Jen. Hello! And we are talking today about the Sakki Sakki tarot deck. And we're kind of doing a tarot throwdown. I'm comparing it to my Rider Waite deck. And yes, I know that's not a box for a Rider Waite deck. I don't have one anymore. I don't even know if I ever came with one. But either way, this is my tarot throwdown comparison between the Sakki Sakki cards and the Rider Waite cards, a little side by side. So you get to see all of that fun, interesting information, and hopefully we will be able to decide whether or not these cards are more or less sticking to the traditional symbolism. So if you are interested in the Sakki Sakki deck, by the way, check out the links in the description below. But let's see what card we have for today. All right, we have the Nine of Swords. So this is one of those cards that when people look at it, they instantly get some sort of a read off of it. It's pretty easy to tell that this is not necessarily a positive story we are telling. Most of the story in the swords, in the pip cards, are not real happy. I would even dare say that the ending of the sword story is super sad. But either way, I do like how this relatively sticks to the symbolism, and I even kind of like the Sakki Sakki one a little bit better, and I'll tell you why in a minute. But let's start with the traditional Rider Waite card. This one is, I like to think of it as kind of the nightmare card. So it is the Nine of Swords. It has the 9 as a Roman numeral up at the top. It does not say swords anywhere on it, but it does obviously have clearly 9 swords. You can count them: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 swords hanging on the wall behind this individual. The individual is sitting upright in their bed. It looks like it's in the middle of the night because, again, we have our dark black background, which not only represents nighttime, but kind of the nighttime and the darkness of the soul. So if you see black or dark colors in the background of a card, kind of think not only just at night, but also think shadow work and think the kind of more negative emotions, sadness, depression, all of those kinds of things. And in this case, anxiety. I would say the key word of this particular card is anxiety. This is the anxiety card. I picked this card and I'm like, oh, look, nightmares, sleepless nights, insomnia, anxiety, stress, all of those things. I have had a friend who is like, that's my card. That's the card that I pick out. And I'm like, yep, that's the one. And I feel really bad because I'm like, how bad is it that your day-to-day is like this all the time? So either way, we've all been there at least once, maybe for longer periods of time. Maybe you're currently going through this kind of period. But it is a coming to completion sort of energy too. So while the Nine of Swords isn't a very happy story, it is, we're getting to the end of it. So whatever you did ahead of time, whatever you did to get to this point, it's coming to a close. So that is the one thing that I look at this card and go, there's the positive, is you are learning from this, you are experiencing it, but you're going to find the light on the other side. I also like to pay attention to the imagery on the bed itself. Kind of looks like somebody is being stabbed with a sword sort of thing. So I like to look at it and go, I don't think that this is the kind of the traditional look of this bed. I like to look at it as this is what's going on inside their mind. They are fighting with themselves, they are fighting with another person, whatever that may be. This is the imagery running through their own mind. This is what their dream state is, or their nightmare state. The coverlet that's over this person also has roses or possibly pomegranates. I'm going to go with roses though, because roses are full of emotion and all of these kinds of things, especially red roses represent passions and all of those kinds of energies. And you also have a lot of the zodiac symbolism is represented on this. I don't know if it's easy to tell because it's sort of like it's stitched in. But to me, what that represents is like we have to go through all of these things. We have to experience all of these energies. And all of these energies are always kind of working on us and either for us or against us. So all of those things are represented. I really like this card in the sense of, again, you can just pick it up and you know this is the anxiety card. This is the sleepless nightmare card. What about the Sakki Sakki one? Why do I like it better? Because there is no one in the bed. This is a card where the person is clearly already left the bed. They're not even there. The swords are hanging in the air, just like in the more traditional card. The bed is kind of made but sort of rumpled, and I like the purples and greens and kind of those more muted tones, but also it's kind of a disturbing color combination. It makes me think of Halloween or darkness or jealousy and villainy and all those things. If you think about how our brains are trained to look at color in a certain way. There is a lamp in the background. It doesn't appear to be on. There's also what looks to be stairs in the background, and the way the stairs are shadowed makes me feel like the individual left the bed and went down the stairs, like they're going down into that darkness. So the reason I like this card better is because not only are they having a sleepless night, it is fully restless. They can't even go to bed. They can't even make themselves lay down. At least in the Rider Waite one, they're in bed. They may have just woken up and they might lay down and go right back to sleep. In this case, they're up and they're wandering at all hours of the night. And again, you can tell that it is nighttime because going back to the colors and imagery represented, the background is very dark. It is clearly at night or the darkness of the soul. It does say very clearly on this one, 9 of Swords, which I also really like. I like when card decks, especially ones that are less traditional and more abstract, actually say 9 of Swords, so you know which this is. Because maybe you don't know that those are swords up there. Maybe you just think that it's an abstract bunch of lines or something. The imagery on the bottom too is a couple of the zodiac signs or planetary signs. That is not my forte. You can talk to my friend Rochelle Ra about that, and she will tell you all about the zodiac stuff. I do know that that is Gemini in the corner, and Gemini is being of two minds. So you have kind of this split energy, or you are either working with yourself or against yourself. Obviously, when this card comes up, that's exactly what's happening. It is not necessarily a card of working against another person or even a community or an idea. This is all yourself. This is struggling with your own demons, your own shadow. So when you kind of dance with that in the Gemini aspect of like, this is two sides of the same individual or two sides of the same idea, that's where your struggle comes in this one. Again, swords are air and intellect and mental struggle. And I think this card, above all others, represents the more mental aspect, the more intellectual aspect of the swords. So, side by side, I think they are excellent examples of one another. I think that the Sakki Sakki deck does a really great job of embracing the full energy of this card, which for a pip card, it is a lot of energy. I will say that this is probably one of the cards that I know people who have never picked up tarot before, when this card comes up, they know. And usually when it comes up, if I'm doing a reading, they not only know what the card means, they know exactly what it means for them. So this is a big energy card, even though it's a pip card and even though it's one of the lesser arcana cards. So all of that being said, I can definitely feel that this sticks to the theme of nightmares, insomnia, anxiety, and stress. So hopefully you are not dealing with any of those things, but if you are, there are links in the description below for readings and all of those kinds of things. If you just thought this card was cool to look at, I have a link for the Sakki Sakki deck and where to order it. I don't get any kickbacks from that. I just love this deck. So until next time, stay safe, stay healthy, stay happy, and I'll see you again soon.